Welcome everyone to our September ProutSpace. We're very grateful to have you here, very excited to have you join us for this conversation with Didi Ananda Sadhana. So the structure of today's event is going to be a 45-minute presentation from Didi, and she said that any small clarifying questions are welcome throughout, but please save any larger discussion questions for the end. So we'll have a hefty time at the end for more questions and conversation. Please note that this event is being recorded and will be made available on YouTube afterwards on our Proudest Universal YouTube channel. And like I said, it will be 90 minutes total. And at the end of the session, we will be sending a feedback form in the chat for any of you to complete and let us know what worked, what didn't work for this event. So with that, I would like to, introduce Didi. So Didi Ananda Sadhana was born and raised in Holland, and she became an Acharya in 1980 and has since dedicated her life to service and education across the world. Her journey has taken her to Thailand, the US, Nicaragua, and Argentina before settling in Venezuela, where she has lived and worked for the past 24 years. In Venezuela, she helped establish a master unit and remains active in Caracas, where she and the local Margis organize weekly Sadhavrata programs and PROUT activities. Her presentation will share the history and development of PROUT work in Venezuela, highlighting both the challenges and the inspiring collective efforts of the community. So with that, I will welcome Didi to start presenting. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about Venezuela. I came to Venezuela I was posted in Venezuela in 1999. And I was actually in Argentina at that time. And then I was sent to Venezuela. And I liked the idea because of two things. P.R. Sarkar had visited Venezuela in 1979 and left quite an impact with his visit, which I found extremely inspiring. And also a year before, in 1998, Chavez was elected as the president of Venezuela. I also found that very attractive. Chavez has started the Bolivarian Revolution. Actually, only had one, in the beginning, he had one particular goal, which was quite simple. He wanted a better distribution of the resources, of the natural resources, of the wealth of the country. That was basically his agenda. And he just wanted the poor to also benefit from the wealth of the country, not just a small group of people. I thought that was very attractive. Now, as was mentioned before, I also lived in Nicaragua. I worked in Nicaragua for 7 years. I arrived in Nicaragua at the end of the Sandinista revolution. It's kind of the year that the Sandinistas lost the elections. So I kind of lived, spent years learning and seeing and, about the Sandinista revolution. That was 7 years. And now 24 years in Venezuela with the Bolivarian Revolution. Now, normally when people hear the word revolution, they think of socio-economic changes. They think of a better economy for the people, an end to the poverty and some social changes. But But Sarkar says that a revolution is not just that. He says a revolution is the total transformation of all levels of society, including oneself. That is a revolution. When my local family asked me, what are you really doing? You know, what is really, they try to understand. They don't understand the concept of acharya, spiritual teacher. So they ask me, what are you doing? They think I do some service and then that's it. And my answer is that, no, I am a spiritual revolutionary who dedicates her life to total transformation of myself and society. I think this is really what sums up a revolution or PROUT. It's a revolution on all levels, not just an economical change. So when you look at that definition and you see the reality of, for instance, Sandinista revolution, Bolivarian revolution, and they keep on repeating those terms, you know, Bolivarian revolution. Actually, the word revolution becomes very hollow, because what you see in reality, that things are not changing the way actually it was hoped for, the way it was actually kind of projected. So what I have seen, you know, from these two places, Nicaragua and Venezuela also, that in the beginning of the revolution, many people give their all, give their life to make these revolutions happen. And the years pass and then it's not happening. And they are actually left with bitterness and disappointment. Many of those people that I know personally that gave their all, they really believed, you know, that their lives were going to improve and that the lives of everybody, the whole country, the whole, you know, there would be a better living standard for all. And the years pass and it's not happening. Their lives have passed, many years of their lives have passed, and it's not happening. And it leaves disappointments and bitterness. And this failure, you know, of creating a successful revolution, partly because of leadership or lack of leadership, they don't have the complete vision. They don't have a complete vision as Sarkar gives us. They do not make the personal transformation that is necessary for being leaders of such big important change. But the other reason really is that these countries, and we have so many examples in South America and Central America, they go against the capitalist system. They go against the visions. And that is not left unpunished. There is such a reaction, such a tremendous reaction, you know, that everything will be done to oust the president, to make this revolution or this change, economical change, impossible. So they really are like a fish in an ocean surrounded by sharks. Any of these governments that have tried, be it in the name of socialism or be it in whatever name, that have tried to make a change for the welfare of their people in their country, to create a better economical standard and to stop the exploitation, the Vaishyan exploitation, they all had to pay or with their life or with being ousted. And the local people, they really pay the price. They really pay the price. I see it very much here. You see it in Nicaragua. You see it here in Venezuela. Yeah, South America is full of examples. I will not even start mentioning them, and Central America also. So I was posted to Venezuela in 1999, and I started a master unit, right? A master unit is very, very much, I feel, the basis of PROUT, or one of the cornerstones of PROUT. Mass units are rural communities away from the big cities. Mass units, they connect with the community. They work together with the community. They work with agriculture. So we did a lot in the beginning, community work. We connected with the community, did all kinds of projects with the children, reading projects. We had a drumming project. We had so many projects. And then agriculture. Agriculture started to become important, and we created an organic farm with educational purpose. Students would come from the area, and we would share with them and talk with them. And all this work, it lasted about 17 years of dedication to build up that master unit. And all along in my mind, in the back of my mind, I always felt, this is the seed of a Samaj. This is the base of Samaj, Baba. We're creating a Samaj, a new community, especially because in that area has very characteristics, specific characteristics. They are people of African descent. They have their own culture. They have their own agriculture, their own music, their own history. So I thought, oh, this could really be Baba, yeah, that we are here to create the basis of the seed, to plant the seed of a Samaj. Okay. So that was a period of, we worked on that for 17 years. During those years, in 2007, 2006, Venezuela, also inspired by those two factors that I mentioned. Baba was here, was visited Venezuela, and there was this Bolivarian revolution in process with many inspiring things, many good things were happening. Dharam came and started the PROUT Institute. And that was also a new phase with a lot of volunteers came from different countries. Worked in the, yeah, it was a great time. We were all very busy. And there was a special emphasis was on cooperatives. Because President Chavez was given that emphasis. We have to rebuild the economy. We have to, start an economy from bottom up, the local people. And he also believed that cooperatives was the way to go. And a tremendous impulse was given to the starting of cooperatives. The PROUT Institute was very involved in that. The PROUT Institute did an investigation in cooperatives and worked together with the master unit. That was 2 hours outside of Caracas. So yes, we worked together, visited many places, many villages, going off the main road into the dirt roads, going to many small villages who had started cooperatives. And that was also a very, very nice phase. Okay, then came the year 2015. Now I'm going to share my screen here. Compartir, okay. Okay, 1 second, let me. 2015 came. Now, what is so special about 2015? Well, already the year before, 1 second, here we are. Yep, can you see it? Yeah, okay. Already the year 2014, I think 2013, 2014, the then President Barack Obama made a special decree. Venezuela was an unusual threat to the security of the United States. Okay, so we were thinking, okay, this does not sound good. No, Venezuela isn't really a threat to the security of the United States, not with their army, not with whatever. But you may say that Venezuela was a threat to the Russians. Yeah, to the capitalist control of South America. Definitely, yes, Venezuela was a threat. And now the reaction was coming. So how did that come about? What happened? How did that get expressed then? In 2015, let me see. Can you see it? Because I see my picture over there. Okay, you can all see it. I need to make this smaller then. Yeah, okay. 2015 was when the sanctions started, right? United States imposing sanctions. So for more than 10 years, Venezuela has suffered from an economic crisis caused by a blockade or sanctions, as called by the United States, imposed by the US government, meaning divisions. Sanctions being punishment, right? So punish for what? Well, punish for Venezuela saying, basta, no more exploitation. Our country is rich with poor people, rich because we have the resources, but yet our people are poor. So let's everybody benefit from these resources and not let all that money go out of the country into the pockets of billionaires. So they were punished for that. Sanctions are a form of slow warfare. Yeah, no bombs, but slowly but surely you're draining the country, you're destroying the infrastructure, educational system, the health system, poverty. It's all it's slowly destroying a country, like what they're doing to Cuba over so many years. Very painful to see that. Well, they're trying with Venezuela. That was the intention also. And the intention was let the people rise up and throw out their president, their government, and fight for a new meaning, a government that is in favor of the United States. That's really what is the intention behind it. So far, it's not working, but it has a tremendous effect. It had a tremendous effect, and it continues to have a tremendous effect. The economic shock wave that was sent to the country was so severe, was so severe that it caused a mass migration. Mass migration, we're talking about millions and millions of Venezuelans leaving the country since 2015. Of course, before also, some people were leaving the country. They didn't like Chavez and his ideas. But really, the mass migration came after 2015. Some by plane, some by bus, many, many on foot, walking. They walked to Colombia, they walked to Brazil, and some walked from there on to Peru, Chile, and some went, and then some went to the I call it the Darien Straits, Panama, walking to Mexico, trying to enter the United States. Supposedly, the number we hear is 7 million Venezuelans. And these are numbers, I think, United Nations. But let's say this is too many. 5 million, that's still an amazing amount of people that left the country. People do not leave their country en masse because they want to, because they feel they have to. This migration issue is very much affecting South America. Even when in Nicaragua, I saw already the consequences and how it separates families. It's a tremendous impact it has on the people and their family life and the hardships they go through to get to the country where they're trying to get a better life, not always successful. And now they're being called criminals and they're being, kicked out of the country in different ways. Well, the problem is really caused by the countries that they are migrating to many times, not all the time, but many are those countries that are the cause of their economic problems. Okay, so this shockwave, the economic shockwave and the criminal shockwave was such that we lost our mass unit in the process. The mass unit we had built up for 17 years, we lost it. We had to leave the place. It was no longer safe to be there, so we left it. And it wasn't only us, it were many other people that had to leave were different projects behind because it had become too dangerous. And while that happened, so while we lost the mass unit at Dinamega, one lady, she had a school there and a business, and both she lost that also. Okay, so the impact was quite a lot. So now, what is the response of PROUT? What do we as Proutists do with this situation? There is a short-term response. Means we do a weekly soup kitchen, we do medical camps, and we give support to small farmers. The long-term response is that we are participating, or some of the Maigis are participating in a virtual training in cooperatives. We are in the process of creating a PROUT cooperative. And one Maigi sister is giving PROUT education at the university that she is a professor at. Okay. Now, let's go over the PROUT's short-term response. We have a soup kitchen, right? We do a weekly soup kitchen. 1 second. We have a weekly soup kitchen. Now, you may say, well, now, what has a soup kitchen got to do with PROUT? Everything. Why? What is the purpose of PROUT? The purpose of PROUT is to create a new humanist society where love is expanded to all of creation, to all human beings, and the whole of creation. It is a society where education is the best and the most beautiful that children can get. And to make that possible, and where there is social justice and everybody has the opportunity to develop their all-round potential to the maximum, these new humanist values need a particular environment to make that possible. In our environment nowadays, with the mentality, the economy, the social environment that we live in, it is not possible. So it is PROUT's job to make it possible for neo-humanism to thrive in society. That mentality of all-round love doesn't fall out of the sky. That's what we need to develop now itself. Now we need to work on that. As a Proutist, I strive for being that person with neo-humanist values. And I work on that on a daily basis. And one of the things that we do to make that develop in ourselves, to become those neo-humanists, right? Those Proutists, fully established in neo-humanist values, is to care for others. It's to care for those who are in more difficult position and more difficult situation. So we see this work definitely as an extension of our PROUT work. And so we prepare at least 100, it has become 120 meals now a week. We have one vegetable store. He gives us whatever he cannot sell, he gives it to us. And then you have to have cut it in it, and it takes work of volunteers, but it's beautiful. And this all happens in the community, right? So we are connecting with the community, with the people. They see who we are, they see who we are, what we do, and then we give the message also of PROUT. These are the Margis. This is the Atma Pranananda. These are Margis. These are generally older adults that are coming. Why? Older adults live off their pension. But due to the sanctions, the economy, the government does not have the money to pay the pensions. Pension right now is about $1. It went down to $1 because of the constant inflation. And they don't have capacity to raise it. So it's generally that we get older adults, especially men. We'd also do medical camps every 3 months, and it's for those people, the beneficiaries are the people that come. to receive food. They are also the beneficiaries of the medical camp. And we even give them a haircut, free haircut. Okay. Now, as we had a farm for many, many years in one particular area, we are going back to that area, and now we are giving support to farmers. One amazing thing actually is that one of the results of the sanctions, which is a positive result, is that Venezuela, before the sanctions, was very dependent on food importation. And after the sanctions, they are almost practically self-sufficient in food production. Venezuela produces a lot of food now, and you see it everywhere in the streets. We remember the year 2015, and the shelves were empty, and there was no food in the street. It was difficult. But now there is food everywhere. Food coming from Venezuela, the vegetables and fruits and everything, and rice and sugar and oil. So, but still, farmers remain poor. The farmers who do the work, who produce the food, remain poor. So as a recognition to the farmers for their contribution, we give them a set of boots and machete. Machete. And because the farmers otherwise go on the land with their slippers and their snakes and their stones and everything. So it's a small, more like a recognition. And we give them the message of PROUT. So we continue to go outside Caracas, go to the farmers area and give support. And actually what we do while we do that, we look for other possibilities of how can we help? What can we do? What can we, there's one farmer's family, they make cassava bread, which is made from cassava. It's a lot of hard work. And we are now suggesting to them, make cassava flour, because then we can sell it in Caracas. And we're helping see if they can make a business that will give them a better income and hopefully maybe expand it into a cooperative. But this is still like an idea. Okay. So what are PROUT's long-term response? Growing for the future. Okay, this person is she became a mom 6 years ago. Extremely dedicated to PROUT. Actually, when I initiated her, she said, Didi, I'm fed up with the university because it's very, I find the vibration very heavy. It's very like Marxist. This university is set up by the government for people who don't usually have access to the university. And it's the main thinking process is like Marxist. She said, it's too heavy here. I don't like it. I want to get out of here. I said, better don't. You're a teacher there. You can teach PROUT to the university, to the students, and maybe even to the professors. She stayed, and that's what she does now. She's doing it in such a way that more and more, she actually gets, her assignment was social media, but then she puts PROUT in it. She mixes PROUT, while giving that curriculum, she mixes totally PROUT in it. That's how she started. So all the students are really there for learning about social media, and they also learn about PROUT. That's how she started. And then she also started to teach yoga, because PROUT without personal transformation we're not going to be able to, we get Nicaragua and Venezuela examples. So personal transformation through yoga, through meditation. And she has, it's so far not that she actually, it's assigned as a course in the university, where she gets full permission from the professors, from the whoever decide that, to do this type of curriculum. And now she has gotten really a curriculum where she can teach PROUT, like 100%, not having to hide it in a social media course or in a yoga course. And the interesting thing is when she gives these yoga classes, the professors are coming. So it's a really, really interesting how she does it. And here's Mrityunjay. So Skripa Devi and Mrityunjay. This is in another university acting, which is also fantastic. They're getting inside another university. And so there's 2 universities that they're giving yoga classes. But the teaching of the PROUT is mainly in the one that she works. Then Mrityunjay took a job in that university also as a professor. And what they do once a week, they do kind of secretly in one room, they do Akala Kirtan to change the vibes of the university. They're really amazing. I think they're amazing, both of them. So she does social research on PROUT as a professor. And she's doing a doctoral thesis called Thinking the Bolivian University of Venezuela from PROUT's theory and Ubevistas, which is the Bolivarian University of Venezuela, pedagogical praxis for another education approach. Basically, it's to make PROUT's theory known in the academic world. That's what she does. And she says to me, Didi, I'm just learning. I don't know sometimes what to do, what to say. These professors have all these theories in their minds, and I don't know sometimes how to answer, from a PROUT's perspective. But anyway, I just ideate and I go ahead. I think they're great. These markets are really great. And she really does a tremendous, great job. She teaches Jamaniyama to the students and writes about it now. Teaching Ethics Decalogue, a guide to human conduct for educational environments from PROUT's point of view. Wonderful, isn't it? She's doing a great job. Okay, now, one thing that has always been our minds and always somehow been part of our work in Venezuela is the topic of cooperatives. When we were in the master unit, we created cooperatives, and the PROUT Institute very, very much into cooperatives because it is a major part of PROUT. A PROUT economy, the biggest bulk of a PROUT economy is cooperative. It's cooperatives. So we have made many attempts. We've made many intentions, not always with the results we wanted. But it is like where I've got the number, but Edison, who created electricity or invented how to create electricity, he had many so-called failures. And they said, oh, so many failures before you finally discovered how to do it. He said, no, they were not failures. They were, I learned how not to do it so many times until I discovered how to do it. And I think all the effort and all the attempts that are made are not in vain. They are every intention, every effort, every desire to get to that goal for a better world and for a PROUT economy gets us a step closer to where we want to go. We may not always see the success that we would like to see. It doesn't mean that what was done was wrong. It's just a step forward, just pushing that door open until time is ready and until people are ready. So what about cooperatives in Venezuela? There were cooperatives in Venezuela before 1998, which is when Chavez became the president. And so there was a national superintendent of cooperatives, SUNACOP, and there were different cooperatives created. The first cooperative in Venezuela called Central Cooperative Nacional de Venezuela, okay. And by 1998, there were like 813 registered cooperatives. Then Chavez gave tremendous emphasis to cooperatives. He gave a lot of money and machineries and whatever was necessary to have cooperatives sprout all over Venezuela. And it worked. You know, cooperatives began to be promoted, and in 2005, there were 70,000 registered cooperatives. And it continued to grow. So the numbers have placed Venezuela among the top countries in the world with the most cooperatives in the world, but also with the largest number of cooperatives that failed. Thousands were started, thousands failed. Why? Lack of training, supervision, money issues, cooperatives without cooperation. You know, cooperatives without cooperation. When I was in Denmark for the PROUT conference, there was one brother from Portugal, and he talked about the work that they're doing, very nice, creating cooperative movements in one particular area not far from the mast unit. And he said, you can have a cooperative economy without cooperatives, meaning without registered cooperatives, but you can't have cooperative without cooperation. Cooperation is the main element. So you may have an economy where everybody cooperates very nicely and manages to have a running economy without actually creating a cooperative. But you can't have a cooperative, create many, many cooperatives, but the basis, the spirit of cooperation is not there. That doesn't work. So cooperatives without cooperation, with the right spirit, with the right mentality, are not gonna work. And that mentality, in most cases, wasn't there. Also because often people were just randomly put together, you know, and they had serious issues with leadership, or their so-called leadership, of money and everything. And there was no proper preparation. It went all very fast, and it did not give the right results. Then also with the massive migration, even what was still there, what was still running as a cooperative, with so many people leaving, there may be only very few cooperatives left. There's one particular cooperative, very successful. It was founded in 1967. It's called Secosasola. It offers services such as supermarkets, agriculture production, funerals. It has a hospital, prioritizing access to goods and services at fair price. The PROUT Institute went to visit them. I know Dara Fernando went there with other volunteers. And they are a very successful cooperative, meaning it is possible. It is possible. It takes leadership, it takes the right mentality, and it can be done. The PROUT Research Institute in Venezuela produced a documentary film with Acharya Narada Muni about co-ops in Venezuela. PROUT Institutes had many international volunteers, interns, and the Institute was a consultant to some of the largest and smallest co-ops and worked directly with the government department of co-ops. So as I told you, they were very involved in Barlovento with the different cooperatives. We visited many cooperatives and did interviews and gave support. And Acharya Narada Muni made a documentary film about it. When we started the mast unit, we also worked with this topic of creating cooperatives. There was a sewing course in one particular village. We gave a sewing course, offered a sewing course. Wonderful, very successful. Out of that grew a cooperative. Very nice, very good, but also you see the limitations. I learned a cooperative needs to have a sufficient amount of members with different qualities. Because these women, they did not all these women were part of the cooperative. There were about 5 to 6 women that made a cooperative. They knew how to sew very well, did very nice things, didn't know how to sell. So there was a obstacle there. They didn't have people in their group, in their cooperative, of people who knew how to sell. And you need a combination of skills in one cooperative. You cannot all just have one skill. But it was an interesting observation. Okay, now we are in our final phase, or a new phase, we can say, right? The emphasis is not now at the mass units, also, but so we are in a new phase now, where the Margis are receiving a virtual course in cooperatives. Yeah, especially then Kripa Devi, she's the leader in it, together with Marit and Jai, but also Rade is joining. Dada is there many times also. So this came as a result of an opportunity that Kripa Devi had to go to the PROUT conference in Denmark. She was invited. Tremendous experience for her, great opportunity, got to know many people. And as a result, she also was offered to participate in this course in cooperative. It's a highly, very quality course, international. And this course will help us to become trainers ourselves in cooperatives, to support people in cooperatives, to inspire people again to start a cooperative, and how to guide them, how to help them. So this is a very important course. Will be very, very important for us also to be able to multiply. Part of our teaching also that we want to do our own cooperative, also to learn ourselves, what are the obstacles, how to work on the right mentality. And again, support was given, and we are now in the process or the beginnings of the cooperative Prana color, right? So this is the group of Margis here. We have one Margi who has all the equipment, and this Margi Laxman actually had a big business. He was doing very well economically. Together with his family, he had this printing business. Then 2015 came, and the business went down tremendously, and now he's barely making it with his family. So he offered his equipment as the base for a printing business. The reason why that works, because most of the Margis that we have something to do with design and printing, some experience, something to do. So we thought, and then Laxman offering his place, we thought this could be the place to go. This could be then the way to go for starting our cooperative. As we have a very difficult economy in Venezuela, it's not easy. It's not easy to start any business, but the spirit is there, and the inspiration is there. In Venezuela, we have problems, serious economic problems, and they're actually not getting better. They're in a way getting worse. Inflation is constant. Yeah, inflation is practically every day, a little bit, and by the end of the week, it's more than a little bit. By the end of the month, it's also too much. It's nonstop. It's been like that for many years. But now we also have inflation, and then the economy became dollarized. In order for the economy to survive, it had to dollarize. This happened many years ago already, which created another economical shockwaves. People in Venezuela, they go through many economic shockwaves, many. So they got dollarized. Okay, now everybody got used to that. But now there's a scarcity in dollars. So now the prices are getting not only higher in the local money, but also in dollars. There's a scarcity in dollars. And I think it has to do because this, the big oil company, I forgot its name, happy country. I think Trump ordered it, not Shell, it's one of the other ones. And that affected very much the economy. And we have a dollarized economy that has a scarcity of dollars. So when I, for instance, what does it mean for here? Well, I had to buy a new telephone, a new cellular phone. So I bought, I say, okay, how much is it? And they said, well, how are you paying? So, well, what's the difference? Well, if you pay in dollars cash, the phone will cost you $165. If you pay in local money, it will cost you $225. That's a warped economy. It is very, very hard for people to survive like that. Somehow we are managing, but it's not easy. So this is the work we are doing. It's a never giving up work, ups and downs. Always inspired to implement PROUT and the different, according to the different ideas of PSR card. Many so-called failures, many falling down, stepping up, of course, getting up and continuing. And yes, I would like to open up now for questions. What are your questions? I hope there's many questions. I like to answer questions. So.
Thank you so much, Didi. So yes, please, anyone feel free to come off mute or put in the chat any questions that you have.
Namaskar. This is Chandravati from Haiti. I'm doing my hair now and I'm in the bathroom, so I cannot show my face. Namaskar, Didi. It's been a while.
Yes, I remember Chandravati. I remember. Nice.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Since I'm in Haiti, I'm sure everybody is very aware of all the horrible news that's coming out of Haiti and all the declarations also that were made in the United Nations at the 80th Assembly there. And the fact that Trump, bombarded sent a drone down and killed about 11 people on this boat, saying that it was for narcotics. President Petro of Colombia, I'm sorry, said that it was not drug traffickers. It was just like ordinary migrants who were probably trying to get a life somewhere. So anyway, my question to you is, I'm just giving you the context. My question to you is, the news that we get about Maduro in Venezuela, about how horrible things are and how the people are suffering under his regime, how much of it is true? How much? I don't know. I don't. This might be a question that you cannot even answer publicly here. I don't know who's listening, but
I think
in Haiti, we're very interested in what's going on in Venezuela, Colombia, Cuba, and everything, because we need change here. And Chavez was very generous with Haitians. And then after that, the Americans had, I think it was under Biden, had the government, go against Maduro, against Venezuela. So anyway, I'm just curious about what's really going on down there and how much should we believe?
Okay, let me see. First of all, I like to clear, I do not defend a government, I defend Venezuela, yeah? I'm not defending any government, okay. But I defend the right of Venezuela of self-determination. I stand for that very, very strong. Then they say, well, Maduro is a dictator. Now, people in South America, they know what it means to live under dictatorship because they have suffered tremendously under real dictators. So we think of a dictator, I think of Pinochet, Chile, I think of Varela, Argentina. They have had many very cruel dictators here who really imposed tremendous suffering on the people. So then, with that context, and the list is long of the dictators that we've had in South America, Central America, often with the support of capitalists of the United States, because this is their backyard, right? So then to say that Maduro is a dictator. It's almost like an insult, to what people in South America have suffered under when they were true dictators. You may like Maduro, you may not like Maduro, but he's not a dictator. Is everything good here? No. Police force and the military force historically are not always seen as the friends of the people. So that things are happening sometimes that we consider against human rights. Oh yeah, I'm not denying that, But he's not a dictator. There is a culture of abuse of power. Yes, Venezuela has that problem too. But he's not a dictator. That's just all. And of course, when you go through the news a little bit and you know that Venezuela is not a country for trafficking drugs. They don't produce drugs. There's no cocaine being grown here. Very little drugs are coming over Venezuela and going to the United States or wherever. It really goes through Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, not Venezuela. These are all stories made up, lies, really blatant lies. And we know that Trump is just hear how he was in the United Nations talking about how great he has done the last 8 months, all this tremendous success thanks to him. These are all lies, right? So he is a tremendous liar. It's all about, staying in power, for the capitalist billionaires staying in power, not to lose any of their power, to have access to the resources, the tremendous rich resources of South America. It's all about that. It's not about honesty. It's not about the welfare of the people. It's not about the welfare of nature. It's all about a small group of people who do whatever they can to stay in power. And interestingly, P.R. Sarkar said, when you see, that's not the exact words, but it is so blatant. It is so, so cruel and blatant. And Barbara said that's the sign of the end of capitalism. Yeah, when they don't even hide anymore, or when they hide with their lies, you can see through it. Even people who may be in favor of Trump, they start to see through it. It's the end of capitalism. So yes, I hope that this it's lies. It's pure lies. I'm not defending a government. I defend Venezuela and its right to be self-sufficient and for the resources to be distributed fairly for all the Venezuelans. Not that it's happening, because we hear the economy is growing, right? You say, oh, Venezuelan economy is growing. Yeah. But then I wonder, okay, but is it going to reach the people? I'm also not sure. Are we going to see that? Is it really going to reach the people, or will it stay also kind of hanging on top? So again, I'm not defending a government, but I do defend what I like of them, that they have a sense of self-determination. And that I like, that they have said Venezuela is ours, and we don't allow people to come in and steal our resources. That's basically, and the interesting thing is also because Chandravati says she's in Haiti, when I look at the news about Haiti, and then Chandravati says, oh, I'm in Haiti, I said, no, get out of there. It's too bad, The news makes it bad, but the news makes it look worse. Same thing, Venezuela is bad, but the news makes it look worse. There's something about how the news plays around and makes you see the worst part of everything and project it on the whole country as if the whole country is living in that horrible, absolutely impossible situation to live. It doesn't make it less horrible what's happening, but it's also not that what they make it look like. We do our work here. We have all these naval ships directed towards Venezuela, and they're doing these horrible things now of throwing these missiles on these boats, right? They want to provoke Venezuela to react so that they can justify them to invade Venezuela. That's what it's all about. And they don't mind killing 10, 20, 30, 50, whoever, people in the process. And more than that. I mean, look what they're doing in Palestine. So, yeah. So we live relatively in peace here. What I think, in spite of those, naval ships directing their arms towards Venezuela. The main struggle that I see in Venezuela is economic, tremendous economical hardship, economical struggle. But in the day-to-day life, you know, to get around and do your work and take the metro and take the bus and go here and go there, it is quiet. There's no extra violence here. There are people getting worried because their sons may have to go to the army, being enlisted, right? And they are, in certain places, they are expected to take some form of military training. It's more, I think, to kind of impress the United States than actual people, you know, taking serious military training. So there's no real feeling of, you know, we're about to go to war right now. It's not there. We don't think too much of it. It's more like, you know, how to survive, how to get, you know, your daily struggle for survival. That's the issue of Venezuela. In me, I'm not the person who studies all the different books and this and that, so I may miss a few things, but in my day-to-day living here, that's what I see and that's what I feel. We struggle for survival. Many people do go through much hardship to survive. People who were middle class or were somehow managing 10 years ago, they really go through hardship. That's the war waged on Venezuela. If there's going to be more war with bombs and missiles, I do not know. But the real war waged on Venezuela is economic. Does not come from Maduro, comes from outside Russian forces.
Thank you, Didi, for this refreshing news about Venezuela. I feel much better, and I know, and I'm happy that you're surviving. You've been with there for about 25 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, but so I'm curious. I mean, Venezuela is vast, and why can't they grow their own? Why is there food problem there? Why don't, if they have like so much land and everything, why can't they grow their own food? Why do they need to go to the supermarket? Because I hear the shelves are empty. I mean,
the shelves were empty 10 years ago. Yeah. And that's one of the good things that came out of that is that now Venezuela is self-sufficient in food production.
Oh my goodness. Woo!
Oh yes.
Wonderful.
It's quite fantastic. There is so much vegetables and fruits and roots and everywhere on the streets. And there's also Venezuela is producing its own rice and its own corn flour, which is a very big staple food. Venezuela has done very well in that as a result of the sanctions, which is quite impressive. The problem is the price. Yeah, it's expensive.
And why is it expensive? Because of transport? Because they have oil.
Yeah.
I don't get that. I'm sorry. Pardon my ignorance.
I also don't have answers to all those questions. Transportation is a big problem. Also, corruption is a problem. Yeah, for people to bring their vegetables from one part of the country to Caracas, there are many Guardia Nacional on the way who stop and will take a fair, some part of the, will charge, you know, corruption is part of the problem. But also these sanctions, it's making it very difficult for the government to have a healthy economy, to pay their people a decent wage. They can't. So part of it, it's both sides, it's both sides.
Okay, thank you so much, Didi. Yeah, I'll let somebody, I mean, I'm fascinated by the subject, but anyway, I'll let somebody else talk. But I was curious, one last thing. If you don't consider Maduro a dictator, what term would you use for him? Is he popular domestically? That I don't know either, and I'll come off.
I'm not sure how to understand it. If it's the type, if the Venezuelans are not the type of people to revolt or what, or many people do go with him, many, yes, but not everybody. Many don't. They also don't go into the streets and protest because maybe we've gone through that phase already. You know, one thing I understood that the elections here, in my understanding, have been fair and democratic. The one big obstacle for the opposition is that they're not united. If they would have united, the Maduro government would have lost the election several elections ago already. Yeah, but they are so disunited. It is actually absurd what they do. They invited the sanctions. They invite invasion into the country. It's the extreme right. Okay, it's the extreme right. So now there's an opposition movement in Venezuela that's much more You know, they are the opposition, but they are not inviting sanctions or war into the country. But one of the reasons why Maduro can stay in power is because the opposition is so divided. So they get not enough votes. They get the minor amount of votes, but the other votes get divided over so many other parties, so they still get more votes than anybody else. How that will continue, I don't know, but I do want to add to this. You cannot hold a country up to the highest standards of democracy and elections while investing millions of dollars into opposing, undermining the democracy. Yeah? And that is what's happening here. It's a very hypocritical game. Yeah? Venezuela elections, show the result. Oh, you are not democratic. These elections were not fair. They have invested millions of dollars into the extreme right opposition to undermine those very same elections. So it's ridiculous. So it's kind of like, let's not talk about democracy anymore. It doesn't exist because this is not democracy. I don't know what to do and how to continue with that, but that's absurd. It's absurd. But they have a track record for very honest elections, especially since Chavez revamped the whole electoral systems, put new machines, and made it very transparent. And still the opposition would cry. Since 2004, they have cried fraud, 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 and never gave the proof. So somebody asked a question. Wait, there was
Yeah, there are two in the chat. One from Dada, who says, when I was in Venezuela, I found that the following ideas were very popular: progressive socialism, economic democracy, relevant to what you were just talking about. Guaranteeing the 5 minimum necessities, cooperatives, key industries owned by the local government, moral and spiritual leaders. What ideas of PROUT do Venezuelans not like? Ceiling on wealth?
Oh, wait. Where's the question?
It's in the chat. It's Dada Maheshwarananda.
Right. Prior to, no. 1 second. Okay, here it is. I found the following ideas were very good. Progressive socialism, economic democracy. Right, I agree with that. Actually, Dada, we were just thinking, because we got these very nice T-shirts with big PROUT, you know, on it, from Dada Maheshwarananda. He sent it to us. So all the markets very proudly, we were wearing our PROUT T-shirt, because we go to a farmer's markets once a month, where we sell our homemade cumin powder, curcuma powder, and things like that. And so we're all wearing a T-shirt, very great. But we were really thinking just like that. We need to have a T-shirt now that says economic democracy, big letters, and then under it we say PROUT. Exactly those things, and progressive socialism, because yes, these words are people connect to that, especially when it also relates to economy. People are looking for new ways of economy. What ideas of PROUT do Venezuela not like? Oh no, they will love ceiling on wealth. A few will not, but everybody else will. They're all, you know, we have a large group of recoup the shudras that were created after 2015. Yeah, people that were middle class, you know, studied and have some kind of, you know, standard of living, and they're all now living in poverty, in tremendous struggle of survival. This is a large group of recoup the shudras that need to be educated, and they will love ceiling of wealth, believe me. There was another question. Okay, do your efforts to share about PROUT encounter much opposition from the government or other sources within Venezuela? Not yet. Where is, okay, not yet. Oh, there you are, I can see you. No, not yet. We are connecting our work in terms of, we are aligning it also more with government, you know, ideas, but we are still aligned. We are, for instance, working with a small group of farmers, ecological farmers, that every month we come together, and they're very chavista. We are part of that. We join, and we're bringing out slowly more the word of PROUT. Yeah? And also Amut and Amutel goes very well with serving the poor and giving food to the poor. The government has no problem with that. They actually inspire it. They said, please help those who have the least. If you can give food, they inspire that. So in that sense, we're still okay. I don't know if it will come, you know. But I think the ideas are not so new, that they're not strange ideas or new ideas. And we are kind of in the flow with people who are more Chavista, more with this, time will show. We are now, how active is PRI with the government and other key elements within society these days? Okay, the Institute of Kripa Devi is doing a lot of work for the Institute. So in that sense, she does everything she does in the university in the name of the Institute. And we're making ourselves more visible now. And is it with the government? No. I personally don't feel much for connecting with the government. Yeah, I don't have hope with government people, political people. They are still, that's why I'm not defending the government. I don't see real like sub-deeper qualities or anything in the leader that Venezuela has. I defend the idea of self-determination, and the leadership is not so inspiring. I find not so elevated. Nothing of what we would like to see. Not yet. There are good people everywhere, of course, but it's on a lower level. I see people very dedicated and tremendously sacrificing. People in the education sector, their salary is very low, and they've gone through hell in terms of their salary. And I see many of them continue to work as teachers in a very dedicated way. I see educational programs, where they don't get really paid, and still they go once a week and go to these students and teach. And these are the people I really look for. These are the people that I hope I can connect to with PROUT. I'm not looking for government. Dada says, oh, if we would only get to talk to Maduro. Maybe he's right. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's going to make a difference, Maduro used to be a Saibaba. If that will make a difference, I don't know. He was with Saibaba, and I don't know. I am personally not so interested. I'm much more interested in local people and and create work with them and spread the word of, do service and spread the word of PROUT with them.
Like the other Dada Atma Pranananda, not me.
Did I say you? I said Atma Pranananda.
You said
Sorry.
Dada. Yeah.
Sorry, I meant Atma Pranananda, who works here.
Yeah.
He said, my interest is really helping farmers. Like when we go once a month with this local farmers, they're young people, they're very idealistic. And I look for how to help them, because we have a small foundation in Holland. And I look how we can help them, and then they see we are proud. Don't mention the word. We have a flyer. We give a flyer. It's not so much talking about PROUT, but showing you are proud and that you are interested to help them. You are interested to help them with their survival. One sister, she makes organic tea, and she's really, has worked very hard over the years to make that into a business. We support her. We have supported her. There's another woman, organic vegetables. She's losing a lot of vegetables, so she wants to dry. So I've been helping her dry those vegetables and in little bags she can sell. And then we're looking how she can start her own drying business, so she will not lose all these vegetables. Those are the type of things I like to do. And then we give the message of PROUT, but to be there constantly year after year, joining them in their work, in their efforts. And hopefully that will at some point create the sympathy necessary for them to open up to PROUT.
Didi, I heard you here. I'm sorry, I'm interfering a little bit. That this woman is trying to dry vegetables. If you go on the site, Trees That Feed, it's a Jamaican nonprofit organization that promotes the production of these trees. Trees that feed. What's that tree called again? In French, it's la vérité. It's ooh la la. Anyway, the word will come to me. Anyway, go to Trees That Feed, and there they have a solar powered, dryer that you can make, I think, for about $1,000 or less, or maybe a little bit more.
3 Dot?
Trees That Feed. If you type that in, I think it's treesthatfeed.com. And there, if you go on their website, you will see the solar powered dryer. Well, they make that one for that fruit that they have, but it can dry anything. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments for Didi?
There was something else here. 1 second.
Mahadeva just put it in the chat, that website also. Trees
Okay.
That Feed.
Economic democracy is a concept elaborated by Dada, Mahesh Fernanda, and Ravi Batra. Batra, what do you mean elaborated, explained?
Explained only, that's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Sure.
I love it.
We've been reading and studying PROUT and working with Didi on these farmers, small entrepreneurial developments at a fair, developing cooperative links. And well, I'm very interested in theory. Now we are going to work with some graduate students to develop some research in the university on political economy. And yes, Ravi Batra, I like Ravi Batra because I think he is a serious academic word in economics, and I'm reading so far, and I've noticed the concept economic democracy often as an alternative to break through the corruption, the systemic corruption there is. And of course, Dada Maheshwarananda elaborated that concept in his book After Capitalism. And yes, that is because there was a question on Haiti and on the Haiti sister, on the ideology that is warming up here. And yes, we talk here in Venezuela about economic democracy, and I think that's pretty much PROUT. I think Venezuela is moving towards PROUT.
Yeah.
But like any revolutions may start one day, but they don't end the next day. It takes longer.
Yeah.
So we are in the process. And economic democracy is basic, I think, to understand. And yes, Dada Maheshwarananda wrote a book on After Capitalism, Economic Democracy in Action. And it's a goal. As Didi said, things don't happen always the way we want them to happen, but it's a vision that we have here. And that's my opinion.
Thank you. It's true, like revolutions do not happen fast. I mean, there's a transformation of the people and the way of thinking has to happen to make it possible, to make all these changes possible. It will happen. We don't know when and how quick or how slow, but it's in process. That's why we're all working towards.
Thank you so much, Didi. We still have some time, so if there's any questions or comments, I'll just say, Didi, that I love the way that you framed PROUT, which is a way to make neo-humanism possible. That really is such a succinct and beautiful summary of the purpose of PROUT, and I hadn't heard it put like that, so I appreciated that. That seems like
Can I tell you where I got that from?
yes.
First model, class 1 of the PROUT course. I love it.
Amazing.
I forgot his name, otherwise I would have mentioned it came from him.
Jyotirmaya.
Jyotirmaya, from England,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, he's
He
very
said that, and I loved it. And I was
yeah.
going to look it up quickly before talking, but then I didn't find it exactly. But yes, I got it from him. I love
Well,
that.
sometimes sometimes the messenger impacts you because I was there in that class and I didn't it didn't
Oh,
get into me
interesting. Yeah.
the same way it did as you said
I
it. So
loved
thank
it, how
you.
he phrased it. I just
Yeah,
loved
it
it.
was wonderful.
And now we all know who was the first one. It wasn't me.
Yes. Any other comments or questions from anyone in the audience? It's so inspiring what you're doing, Didi. Very inspiring. If not,
Since nobody's talking, I just want to share with you something about Haiti, because I'm sure people are also interested in Haiti. In this 80th Assembly of the United Nations, where this President Ruto of Kenya, who has a multinational, well, not a multinational, who has a mission in Haiti, everything he says that they did in Haiti is a lie. I could not believe it that somebody could go on the podium of the United Nations and lie so much about a successful mission. So anyway, I worked for the UN in the past, and I knew that they weren't doing anything for the world. So the reason I'm sharing that with you is that you need to be informed that you don't believe anything that these people say. It's a lie. And Didi, I'm so glad that you described Venezuela in a different way for me, because we're very much in tune with Venezuela and Haiti, but we only hear the horrible stuff. So thank you so much. Anyway, if anybody has an opportunity to listen to the General Assembly in that Ruto, I could not believe that this guy died. He lied so much with a straight face that he successfully opened the airport and the schools and the roads in Haiti when none of this has been done. Unbelievable. But the good news about Haiti is that Port-au-Prince is not Haiti. I just traveled for 2.5 months all over Haiti, went to visit Didi Jiva Prema, who's doing a great project up in outside of Cap Haitian with her classically trained children's home kids. And so the good news is just like Venezuela. The rest of Haiti is alive and doing all kinds of stuff, but Port-au-Prince is a bad news, and Ruto, president of Kenya, is a big liar. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Chandravati.
Dadaji.
How is Trump certainly lied at the United Nations a lot
Yes,
too.
very
What about crime? How is crime now?
in Venezuela.
Yeah.
I don't feel it. I don't notice it. In Caracas, I mean, I don't go out at night, okay? But in general, I don't feel it. I don't hear it. I don't hear other people complain about it. In general, it's not. When I go to Barlovento, where we used to have the mass unit, where the crime was very, very high, then people say it's quiet now, but then somebody else said, did it not really? They're still, and I go to Barlovento, but I don't go to all the small villages. I stay on the main roads. But so it may not be, it's not 100%, but it's quite okay. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. We're starting to go soon to Yaracuy again. Next week we'll start going there again. We'll see how it is there. I do have to say that people outside the city, Caracas city, have a much harder time than people living in Caracas. In Caracas, things are far more functional when it comes to electricity and water and services than outside. Outside, it is much harder. And I see Margie's, a few Margies, and I see they're living in poverty. They have a hard time. Poverty means you may have food, but you can't maintain your car, you can't maintain your house, you can't keep up with things, Yeah. You had everything okay, and then the crisis comes. You still have your house, but you can't paint it or fix it, or you can't, change your clothes into new clothes, or your washing machine breaks down and you can't get another one. So that's how, gradually poverty becomes deeper. It takes a few years, no? But yes, it's so then there's a small group of like capitalist business they all manage, and there's a movement around that. So yes, okay, some manage, but in outside Caracas it's more difficult. It is.
Thank you.
Thanks, Didi. John is asking, what can people outside of Venezuela do to help your work there?
Interesting. Maybe read what we do and then see how we can help more people with their projects and help them improve their local economy. And, you know, like we want to make a flyer now, a PROUT flyer, we need a PROUT flyer. Finances are difficult here. That's the main thing, actually. But if we can present projects and then maybe people are inspired to help. It can be very concrete. This is my WhatsApp number and my WhatsApp and my Telegram number. Yeah, so you can contact me there.
Great.
Don't come to Venezuela right now. Now it's become an exchange of, you know, Trump is capturing Venezuelans. So now Venezuela is capturing America, especially when they're at the border, so they can exchange them, you know? It's becoming very, yeah, don't cross the border right now. That's not a good idea. Anyhow, it's difficult yeah.
Yeah, Aradhana is asking, are there solar projects in your area or could they be implemented?
Well, we're just with that Apaprananda, we want to start making solar kitchens because people outside Caracas are not having good access to cooking gas. And we want to make a project in solar kitchens, solar stoves, right? And solar panels for when the light goes, the electricity goes off a lot outside the Caracas in different places. They struggle a lot with lack of electricity, lack of cooking gas. Sometimes no water, depending where you are. The local transportation is expensive. It has picked up again, you know, it's available. Not so much, but it's available. But it's for people, it's too expensive. They just have a hard time. Even that things work, you know, so it's a transportation and how to pay for it. So they struggle with that. So solar project, we definitely want to work on that. We have to look into that. Our help is financial, so we can do the projects that we're doing and maybe do much more actually in the name, especially do more in the name of PROUT. Help people and then give the message of PROUT at the same time. Yep.
She asks, follow up, do you have rocket stoves? They're good if you have access to wood.
But yeah, isn't the idea to not use wood or what? I don't know the stoves. The idea is to use the sun, but maybe when it's rain, because sometimes it rains a lot, maybe rocket stove. Get in touch with me, Aradhana. We'll talk about it.
What did you ask?
You said, do you have rocket stoves, right? Is that your question?
Yeah.
They're good if you have access to wood. Solar panels are good because you don't have to get wood. But then, of course, when it rains, maybe then a rocket stove could be a solution. Maybe contact me, yeah? We can talk about it.
Okay.
Okay, Mahadeva says, how is climate change impacting people in Venezuela?
Sometimes excessive heat and excessive rain. And like it rains, it pours. And then recently we've having some earthquakes, you know, still small enough that they don't cause serious harm. But we had some earthquake movements a few days ago, several. And then they're saying more are coming, that they're expecting more earthquakes movements of the soil. If they will be serious or not, we don't know.
We have about 5 minutes left, so I'll open it up just for maybe 1 or 2 more questions, and then we'll close the meeting.
Thank you for listening. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for sharing, Didi. You're doing very good work. And we're all lucky to have your example. So if there aren't any final questions or comments, heartfelt thank you again, Didi. Yes, Dada is clapping. I wish we had that we could give you that experience of all of us applauding, because I'm sure it would be loud. And thank you
Thank you.
everyone for attending and engaging in conversation with Didi. We have the feedback form in the chat, so if you would like to share your feedback on the event, please do. You can follow Proudest Universal on social media, on YouTube. Again, this recording will be accessible there for those who didn't attend. And excuse my cat, I don't know if you can hear him. He's hungry. And yes, our next event will be the last Saturday in October. I don't know if we have a speaker confirmed yet, but once we do, that will go out in our newsletter. You can sign up for the PU newsletter on PROUT.info if you're not already registered there. And I'd like to thank everyone once more for attending. And yes, Dada, you have your hand up. Oh no, okay. Okay, so if, Taraka, did you have something to say?
Yes, what is on the screen right now, that if you have a request to share a Proutist project around the world, please send us an email to the email that is there, ProutSpace at prout-global.org. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Great to see everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you, Didi.
Thank you. Thank you all for listening.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you, Didi. It was amazing. Thank you, everyone.
See
See
you
you in the
next
next
time.
one.